Hello, Father Will here. It's May 1st today, and it's a great day. Beautiful month that we have to look forward to. May is the month of Mary, a month in which we devote ourselves to our Blessed Mother in a more special way. We give of ourselves in prayer more intentionally and completely. And May is a very special time. May 1st in particular is a very special day because it's a feast day of Saint Joseph the Worker, a day in which we can really reflect upon the goodness of work in our own lives. And I think especially at this time in our world, it's a very important and necessary thing to think about our work and how we go about performing it. Now we've taken a little bit of a field trip down to Father Will's basement workshop, and I have a little bit of a project that I've been working on. And last week I was sitting in the church one evening praying, and my mind started to wander a little bit, and I was thinking about some different things that I would like to try to build. And this is one project that's kind of been on my mind for a while, to build a kneeler, something that I can build and be able to grow closer to our Lord in the process of building it, and also to have the end product that I can utilize to grow closer to our Lord, so I can kneel on it during my times of prayer. But in any event, I came down here at about 8:30, 9 o'clock that night, and started kind of looking around, and grabbed a scrap of paper and drew something out of how I wanted this kneeler to look, and looked around at the different wood. I had some scrap wood, different pieces of lumber and plywood and whatever else that I needed, and was kind of imagining in my mind how this would appear and how I would assemble everything. So I spent maybe an hour or so kind of looking this over and drawing lines, and cut some pieces out and glued a couple things, and said, okay, I'll come back to this at a later time. So went upstairs for the evening, and came back down the following morning, and sort of returned to this project, and things sort of came along pretty well, and sanded pieces, and then took them and glued them, screwed them in, did whatever I needed to do in order to build this. It was difficult though. It was a time-consuming process. It was one that took patience, and got to certain points where I wanted to kind of rush it along a little bit more quickly than I should have. There's points where you need to let the glue dry. You need to let the stain dry. You need to let things take their time so that you can produce something that's going to be of higher quality. But so for me, it took me about a week to end up with this product, this kneeler, and show you just briefly there. So it's not much. It's it's something that I was satisfied with well enough. It's maybe a little bit wobbly in some spots, but I think for me it was that working and accomplishing something, and being able to have the satisfaction of seeing that I produced something of quality that was as well as I could have expected. But I think for each of us in our lives, we kind of have that soul craft, that activity that gives us a sense of life that nourishes our soul. We go to pray to have our soul nourished, and then we have these various other activities and works in our life in which we are engaging in them as a sort of way of glorifying our Lord, of growing closer to Him and giving of ourselves to Him as well as we can. But it takes a great amount of virtue in order to accomplish this in our life. And that's why we look to St. Joseph the Worker, a man of great virtue. He was studious, he was humble, he had that patience, and he persevered through his work, so we look to him as that example. Now, the church doesn't endorse one type of work over another, whether it's a person who works in an industry of service, one who is engaging in the trades, or manual labor, someone who is even a student, someone studying something in any sort of classwork, that they take that work seriously and engage in that seriously, that's a way of them being sanctified. Or someone who works in law. Right now, we certainly are focusing on those who work in healthcare or those other fields that are kind of out there, essential first and foremost on our minds. Maybe it's the work of parents at home raising their children and putting in that effort day in and day out. Very, very tiresome and toilsome work, but to be able to offer back to the Lord that work in which they are being sanctified through it. But work is really an expression of the value that we have as human persons, and it's a means of cooperating with God's work here on earth that's taking place right now. And it gives us a sense of being self-sufficient, not just a sense, but an ability to be self-sufficient, a way of producing something, a way of being able to assist others in their lives in some way, and maybe to give us a purpose in our life. And I think maybe most importantly is that it's a way of us being stewards of the gifts that God has entrusted to us at this time. But right now, I think it's so important for us to thank God for the gift of work that we do have. There's days where work is toilsome and it's tiring, and we maybe want to rush through it. We don't want to put in the time that we need to. Maybe we want to bypass some of the more difficult work that we have and take the easier tasks that we have on our plate. But working is such a profound way for us as human beings to utilize the abilities that we have and to be able to offer them back to our Lord. It's for that reason that we take this May 1st as a time to pray to St. Joseph, to ask him for the gift, the help that we need to really live the work that we have virtuously, to engage in it well. And I think especially to pray for all those who are experiencing challenges at this time because they're out of work, or they have less work, or their lives are changed, or the way that they engage in work has changed somehow. So let's really take a moment to ask St. Joseph to give us the assistance that we need to draw closer to our Lord Jesus, and to receive that grace of God into our souls, to live the work that we do have as well as we can, and to be able to glorify our Lord through it.